Hey guys, it's Melissa, and I want to take you through the process of converting existing subject guides to our new template. There is a document for the conversion called the New Subject Template Conversion, and I believe I already linked that into the task tracker. So this is going to take you through the process with screenshots included. For the first step in this process is that you're going to want to view that conversion tracker spreadsheet. So let me go ahead and get that open. You guys have each been assigned 10 guides to convert, and I've already sorted it by librarian so you can see what you're working on. You'll also see the full-time librarian associated with that subject guide, and then you'll also see the URLs to the right, so that'll come in play a little bit later. So let's go back to the guide. When you start working on a guide, you're going to want to go ahead and enter that date into the date started column on this page here. And then to log into LibGuides with your credentials, one way is to follow this link here. And it's already logged in for me. And we're going to navigate to LibGuides. And then we're going to create a guide. So, to create a guide, what you're going to do is you're going to select copy content layout from an existing guide. And we're copying it from a local guide. So we're going to open this tab here and go ahead and type in new subject level guide template. Okay, so we want to enter a name for this guide. So I'm going to go ahead and do the accounting resource guide. And so all of our guides, we're switching from research to resource. So I'm going to enter accounting resource guide. And if for some reason you are on autopilot and do research, we can always edit it later. From guide type, make sure that you select subject guide, because this does impact some widgets that we use in some of the other areas of the research portal. And then go ahead and assign it to the library services group. And then you're going to click create guide. And so it'll take a minute or two to create that guide for you. So once you've created the guide, just take a minute to review the information up here. So we want to make sure that the type group says subject guide and then library services is the group. You can again change the name here. So if you've on accident did put research guide, you can go ahead and edit it right here. One thing to point out is that we need to edit this URL. And this needs to match what's on the subject template conversion tracker. So you'll see here for accounting that it says accounting is the friendly URL for the current guide. So what I want to do for this new guide is edit here, and it's going to say accounting, and then we'll underscore new and save. And then the next step related to this top page here is to assign the subject to this guide. So because we're working in accounting, I clicked the little pencil next to subjects, and then you can either search, but because accounting is right at the top, I can just go ahead and check that and click save. So there are several things that you'll be doing on this first page here. So first we'll start with a banner box edit. So I have created banners for each guide. And so you'll need to replace this banner depending on the guide that you're working on. So obviously the first one I did was accounting, so it's already in here. Okay. So to edit the banner image, what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this little pen and paper. And that's kind of how we edit content in boxes throughout the guides. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit here. Okay. So I'm going to right click on the image and you'll see image properties. from here, what you're going to do is you're going to click Browse Server, and you're going to want to, it'll default to your personal library. So you want to click on Shared Library, and then under Subject Template Images, you'll click here. So I'm going to upload all of the different banners, but for right now, all I have is the accounting in here. So to reuse this accounting banner, I'm going to click on the little photo, and it says reuse this image when you kind of hover over it. So you should see your banner image here with whichever one you're using. In this alternative text, I will make sure that it should populate on its own. I just need to, I'm going to go ahead and enter it here. So if it doesn't populate, if you'll go ahead and enter the alternative text there for what the image says, because that helps, I think, with any kind of screen readers or any other kind of ADA or, disability service resources. And so I'll click OK. And you should see the new banner populate here. And we'll want to save and close. Okay, so that's the first thing that you're going to edit on this page. Now, the next thing that we're going to edit is going to be the how to use this guide section. So you'll notice that right now it's kind of split up into two different sections, because you'll see here, right here, we have the little pen and paper, and right here we have the little pen and paper. So these are two separate information sections or text sections or content sections within this box. So for this first one, we want to replace this red text here with the subject that we are working on the guide for. So I'll go ahead and click the down arrow and hit edit. And then I can just go in here and highlight that and then replace it with accounting, because that's the guide I'm working on. And then I will go ahead and highlight it again and just make sure that the text is black. And then I'll hit save and close. So here you go. We've got our nice accounting and related fields. Now that we've inserted accounting here, we're done with that particular piece of this box. Now we need to move on to the second piece, which includes creating links to each of these images to kind of make them buttons, and they're going to connect to these side pages right here. I've already created the links for these bottom three, so you don't have to mess with those. So you're really just focusing on these top three. So in order to do that, the first step is going to be that you need to get the URL for that page. So we'll go ahead and start with the Get Started button. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and click Get Started. And then you'll see right on top in this kind of lighter gray box that there is a URL associated with this page. So what I can do is go ahead and highlight it and then copy it. So Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. And then I'm going to go back to the welcome. And then I'm going to hit this little pen and paper and edit. So I need to right click on my button again. And I'm going to go to Image Properties. And so you shouldn't have to mess with anything on this first tab unless there's no alternative text. There should be, but if there's not, please go ahead and enter it. We're going to click on link here. And on link, we're going to paste that URL, so Control V or Command V. And then don't worry about the target. We don't, you can leave it at not set for these buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then we'll do the same for find sources and evaluate sources. So if you want to just open like a Word doc and copy those three different URLs so that you don't have to go, close this box, go back to the evaluate or find sources, get that URL, that's one way you can do it, or you can kind of go back and forth. And then I'll save and close. And so when I click on Get Started, it's going to open this page for me. Okay, so because it's trying to open it live, so because it's not a published page, we won't see it, but it will open it once the guide gets published. Okay, so the next thing that you're going, like I said, you'll go back and do the same thing for find sources and evaluate your sources. So the next step on this page is going to be the Meet Your Librarian box. So right now I've got all 3 on here. So you can just delete the librarians that are not associated with the subject. So to do that, you will just, in the Meet Your Librarian, you'll see a little X. It's kind of hard to see, but so you'll just go ahead and click Delete Box. You'll go ahead and check that box right there, that I understand this can't be undone, and then hit Delete, and it'll take it away. So I'll do the same for this box because we know that Cole is the accounting librarian. So again, you can double check with whoever the full-time librarian is listed on the subject template conversion. We have split a couple of the bells, so like English, philosophy, psychology, we've split those between the 3 of us. So just make sure that the box you leave on this page matches the full-time librarian listed on the subject template conversion spreadsheet. We are done with this page. All the edits that are required for this page. So now we're going to click on the Get Started page. And the only thing that you have to edit on this page is going to be in this Steps to Choosing a Topic Explained box. And it's going to be specifically the background research tab. So what we need to do is we need to add any appropriate databases for background research for this particular subject. And if you need some help kind of figuring out which ones those would be, go to the library's homepage and look at the databases related under business, and you can look at the reference ebooks. So for business, they recommend, we've recommended Credo, which is already here. And then another one would be Statistical Abstracts of the U.S. So in order to add databases, what you're going to do is, so you'll see that Credo is already listed here. In this instance, you're going to click on Add Reorder, and then you'll have a menu that comes up, and we're going to add a database because we have our own kind of A to Z list within LibGuides. So you can search for the database you're looking for in this box. Here's the Statistical Abstract of the U.S. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, and then going to go ahead and save. So you'll see that it's added that database here. If there are other reference databases that need to be added, then you would add them in the same manner. You can sort the group by title, so if you want it to be in alphabetical order, that's cool. If for some reason one of the databases doesn't come up, please let Melissa know or let me know, and I can get it added to the A to Z list, but they should all be in there. So the last step, once you've done you've added all of the appropriate reference resources to that page, is going to be to delete the red text located under this banner. So it is located in this section, and you can see on the bottom right of that section the little pen and paper. So we'll edit, and then we will scroll down under this image and just highlight and delete. Okay, and then you'll save and close, and that's gone. And that, let me check my trusty conversion guide, is the only edit that you have to make on this page. So on the Find Sources page, there'll be a couple of edits on this home page right here, or this landing page. I haven't finished the video yet, so that's why it's not there, so don't worry about that section. What you're going to do is you're going to, again, make these images link to these sub pages over here. So it's the same process as the welcome page, where you would need to go to this catalog page here, copy and paste. So let's copy the URL for it. And then I'll go back to the Find Sources. I'll click on Edit here. You can either right click on the image, or if the image is highlighted, you can hit the little picture guy there. And then I'll paste that link. And again, just make sure the target not set is the default. And so that makes this button open this page. And so you'll do the same thing for articles and videos and recommended websites. So that's the edit that you would make on this particular page. Then we'll need to go to the catalog page. And on this page, you will be editing the Browse the Collection tab. And you'll be editing this with the call number ranges for that particular subject. So what I recommend doing is going ahead and opening another tab, and I'm going to navigate to our research portal. I'm going to select the current accounting guide, and then I need to log in because we've hidden all the books CD tabs for now since we don't have any physical services. So I can log on to LibApps down here, and I can navigate to this book's CDs and DVDs. So you'll notice that you should find a Browse the Collection box somewhere within the guide. So I can click on this and I can click Edit, and I can copy. So I have to, highlight everything, Command or Control C, and then I'm going to go back to my tab for my current guide, and I'm going to click the button to edit and replace that information with what I copied from the other guide. So it's showing me, because I already had something on here, that's why it's double. But so one thing you'll want to make sure to do is, right now you'll see there's 2 doubles here, so I'm going to just go ahead and take away that one, and then I'm going to make sure to put accounting, and we'll want that bolded but black text. And then we'll delete this red text up here and delete the space, and then save and close, and boom, I have added the accounting call number areas. I'd also suggest you guys take a look at the Library of Congress call number ranges just to make sure that there's nothing that we need to add or update. These have been created quite a while ago on these guides, so there may be something that we need to be adding. So that kind of takes over the catalog. So we finished all of the edits that need to happen on this page. So now we're going to go to the databases, find articles, videos, and ebooks. So you will not be messing with this first tab. That needs to stay database overview, and it has a video embedded. But you will be editing these tabs and adding databases to it. So these tabs need to mimic the LSCS library's database organization. So I'm going to go ahead and open another window and get to the library's page, and I'm going to find articles, and I'm going to click on business because I know accounting fits underneath that. So of course, if you have psychology, then you'll want to, get under the social sciences, etc. So the way that this page is organized is that we have a drop down for articles, reference and ebooks, video, and then internet. I need my tabs and my guide to mimic this right here. So I'm going to navigate back to my resource guide, and to edit the tab names, I'm going to click on this little gear. Okay, so we're going to enter articles, reference and ebooks, videos, and then internet here. And we can update each of those tabs that we just changed, and then create this extra tab. And then we can close. Now, if for some reason they're out of order, you can actually drag them around and change the order from here, and then you would click Save Positions. And just make sure that database overview is always the first tab, and we'll hit close. So you'll now see that I have articles, reference and ebooks, videos, and internet. So for the articles, so you'll basically go through each tab and add the databases that are indicated on this page here. So for articles, I need to be adding all of these different databases. If there's one on this list that maybe is LSC Kingwood or Tomball or something like that as a campus specific one that's not our campus, then don't include it on the list. Okay, so just as a refresher, I'll start with Business Source Complete. So I'm going to add reorder, and I'm going to select database, and then I'll search Business Source. Okay, so here's Business Source Complete, and I will save. And so again, I'll just keep going through that to add all those databases. Then I'll move on to the reference and ebooks, and I'll take a look at what is listed under reference and ebooks and go from there. Because this one has internet on here, you may want to check with Cole in this instance to see if he wants these included on the find articles, or if maybe they can be just part of the recommended websites. So just double check on that one. I don't know how many of the subgroupings we have that include internet. So next thing we need to do is recommended websites. So on recommended websites, you will basically be working with the recommended websites and professional organizations tabs, and you're going to be adding links to this tab. So as opposed to adding databases, we'll be adding links. In most instances, you're going to be able to reuse an existing link because they've been created with the guides that we're using right now. I'm going to go over to the current accounting resource guide. Hold on, let me close that. And look at the recommended websites listed here. So I see that there is, for example, Accounting Web is the first one. So I'm going to come over here to the resource guide that I'm working on. I'm going to add reorder, and I want to do select link this time. So from this box, we can create new links, but because I know that link already exists, I want to go ahead and reuse it. If we create a link, we could kind of junk up our link section because there could be like 10 links for the same resource. So we always want to try to see if the link already exists in LibGuides before creating a new one. This is Accounting Web. You also need to type it as it is on the site, because if I did, so Accounting Web, it has to be together, and you see that comes up. If I just did Accounting space Web, then nothing's going to show up. So just double check to see how it's listed on the current guide. So I can go ahead and select it, and then I can click Save, and it will add that link there. And again, I'll go ahead and add the next link and the next link until I've finished all the links that are listed for this one. And then I'll move on to professional organizations. And again, those are links, so you can just do that in the same manner as you did recommended websites. I know some of the guides had like a lot of like professional organizations or websites. So if for some reason there seems to be a ton and you have questions, just ask that subject librarian if they want to include them all, or if we want to, maybe select some to not be added. So at this point, you've finished the conversion, your piece of the conversion, because there's nothing to be done on the evaluate your sources or these other pages. These all link to existing pages. So the next step at this point is that you will, once you've completed this resource guide, you'll go to the subject template conversion, and you'll add the date you completed it into the guide or into this tracker. Then you're going to email or send a message through Teams to the full-time subject librarian, letting them know that the guide is ready to be reviewed, and make sure you include the guide name, of course. The full-time librarian will then review that, and if edits are needed, they'll communicate it with you. If everything looks fine, then the full-time librarian will publish the guide and then check the converted box on this spreadsheet. And then, of course, at the end of this, after all of the guides have been converted, I will go through and make them all live, replacing the old guides on the system. If you guys have any questions about the process as you're moving along, please contact me. If you have any questions that are related to subject content, then contact that subject librarian. I know there's going to be a few like nursing, maybe some of the medical ones where we may need to add additional tabs or something like that based on the information need for that. just make sure you contact that subject librarian, because I think you guys all have kind of a mixture of the different divisions. So thank you guys a lot for, you're going to be helping through this process, and it's very valuable to us, the assistance that you're going to be providing. That's all. Sorry this video is not super jazzy, but hopefully it's helpful. Okay, have a good day.